Hello, everybody. It's chloethedev here. Hope you're all doing well and have a wonderful Friday. Friday for me, might be Saturday for you, I suppose, wherever you are at. So I guess my goal for the week was to finish Consensys Academy. I'm pretty close. I'm about 96% done, I'm pretty sure. Let's check. Let's plug that tablet in. Did I break it? Nope, didn't break it. So it says I'm 96% complete. I'm complete everything except for chapter 7, module 9. The video is blank, or the text is blank, so I didn't complete that, whatever. There's 2 graded assignments I didn't complete. They seem like very simple smart contracts. Honestly, a lot of the content is in like Solidity 0.4, 0.5, whatever, and then it's graded in 0.6. So I'm kind of not really sure. I guess they're expecting you to like learn from the mentors throughout the course, and then once you've learned from the mentors, you'll be able to upgrade to Solidity 0.6, 0.7. There's actually a YouTube page I've been following. I follow this page on Facebook for like Solidity, and this young black, I think his accent sounds African. Their accent sounds African. The person's name is Isaac Frank. I'll drop one of the links to one of their videos in here. But I started sharing with the Web3 Bridge students, and they have a 16 video series on Solidity. So I've been kind of going through that to brush myself up because I haven't written in Solidity in 6 months. So, but the course didn't really. I feel like it didn't prepare me to be writing smart contracts in Solidity, at least updated Solidity. This weekend I am planning on going to the mint-based contracts, so I have those up. As well, I'm going to be using the archive node when I start doing anything in terms of development. So I'm going back to running my Waku node. I'm going to be talking to the F-status people, Waku, trying to see if I can get that running and keep it running and try and be useful and helpful in terms of their test suite. Chapter 8. So I'll talk about what I did go through today. Chapter 8, Ethereum and the end user. We went through, introduction to Web 3.0, just talking about more Web3 stuff, connecting to Web3, updates to Matic, just using React. And they went through Rimble UI. And Rimble UI was something I thought was pretty cool. It's a project from Consensys, of course. But it does seem like a pretty cool UI. It's like a what is it? Bootstrap. People use CSS Bootstrap to make things look good. It's that, but for like blockchain specific apps. So I always think I'm not a UI specific person, but I understand that I might be making UIs at some point in the future one day. So something like Rimble UI would be very useful for me, so that I'm not really spending too much. I hate sitting there with Bootstrap or CSS and punching in little numbers to move things side to side. My girlfriend loves that kind of stuff. She's a designer, graphic design, web design. That's her forte. Me, I just want to sit in the back end and make sure numbers are displayed correctly. Then there was a test. It was pretty simple. Then chapter 9. Chapter 9 is my favorite chapter in the entire, course. It was on smart contracts, pitfalls, testing, and debugging. I think that Solidity, in my opinion, is very similar to like C and like JavaScript. It's very weird. It's very simple, the language. And once you understand what you can do with the blockchain, I suppose, or why the blockchain would trip you up, Solidity in and of itself is not that bad. I mean, you have linters or whatever, and the computer tells you can't do that. You can't do this. In my opinion, programming is simple enough in that sense. Logic is where usually things get a little more complicated, in my opinion. And I think that Ethereum logic is where things get really complicated, like moving money around and when you're just doing a basic logic, it's not bad, like moving numbers. But moving money around, like overflow, underflow, and all these, re-entry attacks and all that. So studying those attacks, in my opinion, is pretty fun. So this chapter had it went through just like different security analysis tools, different attack demos, smart contract best practices. Honestly, like just how to use truffle tests and stuff like that. And in my opinion, yeah, I think it's really important to go through that kind of stuff. Again, most of the course went through Solidity that was outdated, and then talked about attacks. And it's hard, in my opinion. I know that the attacks are the attacks, and so whether you use new Solidity or old Solidity, it's the same attack. At the same time, I think it would be nice to kind of see what are some newer attacks. There's been a lot of attacks in DeFi recently, very complicated attacks that I had a really hard time understanding. And it would have been really nice to kind of have some video explanations really working through some of those attacks where I was on Etherscan, had like 3 or 4 tabs open, trying so hard to understand hey Meeksies, trying so hard to understand how people were using flash loans to siphon money out of different protocols. And eventually, you break it down, or people on Twitter, I'd read their tweets of breaking it down, and that was super helpful for me. I'm trying to put together a list of really helpful Twitter pages, YouTube pages, just like I'm going to call it like Marmaj YouTube University. And in my opinion, it's going to be on the marmaj.org website, and it's just going to be a page where anyone who wants to learn more about blockchain, become a blockchain developer, just learn more, go to that site. And it's going to start as a dump. It's going to start as a resource dump of just links. And if you want a link for like learning cryptography, just really good learning resources, I'm going to put that there. And then eventually I hope to organize that list event, but that doesn't seem very efficient at this point in time. But yeah, like the test for it was actually pretty difficult because it's hard to know which attacks are happening in which contract. It's hard to know why a contract is unsafe. But yeah, I guess I wish there was more content. And they did leave resources that I will admit I did not go through that much. I have gone through but like I do really well with video content. I do very well with seeing the explanation of why something is not good, why something is good, what the changes are. And so personally, when it's just text, I'll read through the text. When there's extra content, I've already gone through a lot of it. Refreshing through it again is useful, but I just went through it. It was fine. A couple attempts to do the test, but honestly, I like going through because I learned a lot from those attempts. The advanced topics just kind of talked about design patterns, IPFS. I like they went through IPFS. Those things are important to teach developers that you don't want to put everything on the blockchain. You want to keep as much data as you can off the blockchain, stuff like that. Important stuff. Oracles, they use Rhombus network for oracles. Kind of annoying. I mean, I shouldn't use the word annoying. Chainlink is obviously the biggest oracle. And then if you were going to teach someone how to connect to an oracle that wasn't like branded like that, I guess it would be cool to learn how to connect to like a more generic oracle, like for example, even like I guess, can you even connect to the MakerDAO oracle publicly? I don't think you can get that. It requires access to connect to it. So who knows? Maybe Rhombus is great. I never use oracles. Trying to access off-chain data on-chain, in my opinion, is something that I learned from a developer friend of mine, a blockchain developer friend of mine. Early just wasn't a good idea to try and do. And so I just never try and create like ideas in my brain that require that. And I know that eventually that's going to just be commonplace. It needs to come to Ethereum, but it needs to come safely. And I haven't really looked into too many projects that are doing it too safely. I think it's pretty difficult to do. And yeah, if it's decentralized, it should be decentralized. But being able to connect it, sure. And I think knowing that it exists is important. formal verification and zero knowledge proofs. I'm really into zero knowledge proofs. Zero knowledge proofs have like taken my brain by storm. And I got this is a good segue. I mean, so it's one more chapter on additional topics, just talking about like Viper, like EIPs, low level Lisp. I mean, I don't know, just whatever. But so into my goals for the rest of the year. I mean, I still do want to create this smart contract with Consensys Academy. It is a goal of mine. I have a bunch of plans for when I want to complete things. As I said, I'm going through the mid-based contracts this weekend. I am also, so a goal of mine this weekend, first goal, I've been meaning to go through. There's a paper on the economic viability or economics of ETH 2.0 that I want to go through. It's like 100. It's not too crazy, 100-page paper. But it came out a few months ago now, and I've just meaning to go through it, and I've just been so busy. And I'm like, you know what? This weekend is a great time to go through it. So this Saturday, Sunday, I'm just gonna go through it, take some notes, just for my personal enjoyment. I've been meaning. I have about 5 papers on my phone that have been sitting in my browser for months and months, like elliptic curve stuff. Status stuff. So, I mean, one of my goals is to, I guess, work. Mika, are you being good or bad? Are you being good? I'm so proud of you. I thought she was biting her leash. She does that sometimes. Oh gosh, this child. I guess I want to work for a company like Status, a company that's trying to get Ethereum into the hands of millions, potentially billions, by putting it in a messaging app, right? A messaging app could realistically be in the hands of billions, and they want to make it so that they can all be light clients, from what I understand, and then they want to have people also be incentivized to run mail servers and nodes. And they're trying to have a true encrypted messaging system, and I think it would also be a really cool if there was millions of light clients. I think you could get away with having a DC net on top of it that could be used for validators for ETH 2.0. Also, they're connected with NIM research, and I'm really into the NIM client because they're trying to put clients on mobile phones. So it just seems overall like a really good research spot for me with VAC. I did get the node running. I'm so excited a couple of days ago. So I was getting some dropped packets. So I did want to ask someone in the group, like, hey, is this normal? Like, is there a way to try and fine tune this? Is that my job to try and fine tune settings to drop less packets? Can I log this somewhere? Like, I have no clue how to do this stuff, and I want to learn. I don't want to bother people either. So I guess I got to figure out how do I look. So that's the kind of thing as well. So in terms of goals, I want to work for Status one day. I want to be useful to them. So I'm trying to learn how to be useful. So BIU or BYU, it's cryptography. It'll be on the list of resources on the site soon. But cryptography, I need to learn more cryptography stuff, discrete mathematics in general, ideas. So when I see them in papers, I understand what's going on. Not the deep-grained mathematics of it all, more just the high-level topics, so that I'm more well-versed in what I'm reading. I also want to make sure I'm going through all the ETH research posts. I want to set notifications that whenever there's a new ETH research post, I'm reading it, even if it's not relevant. I say relevant because it's all relevant to me. Anything about Ethereum, 1.0, 1.x. 2.0, all of it. 3.0. Let's talk about 3.0 already. Let's go. It's all relevant to me. Until everybody is running a node, until everyone has the ability to run a node that wants to run a node, I don't think we're done with the main chain. So I love that people are building dApps. I want to help people build dApps. I want to be a mentor for people building dApps. I want to teach people to build dApps to a certain extent. I don't think I'm the best teacher for it because I don't enjoy building dApps. I don't really enjoy coding. I consider myself someone who codes just enough to get the job done. And my job, in my opinion right now, is to make Ethereum scalable, secure, and safe. So even with this dApp that I want to make for the Consensys course, part of my issues is that, it's not scalable. right now, most of the art that I see NFTs wise, digital art, is in cryptovoxels, and cryptovoxels is barely scalable. So there's that issue. And then even in terms of that, I can't mint anything right now. So it's kind of discouraging in terms of wearables in the world, because the gas prices are too high. And in terms of art minting, the gas prices are too high. So I'm trying to think of ways to, using swaps, network, kind of airdrop type things. Like, can I airdrop? Can I get a bunch of signatures added up and then airdrop the token to all those signatures who have added up little bits of gas together? Or, I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways. But then I know Mintbase is already trying to go to layer 2 with Arcweave. And so my thing is like, why am I trying to reinvent the wheel? Why not just go through the Mint-based contracts, understand them, and then talk to the developers who are working on Arcweave, see if maybe I can just finagle something on testnet, and then that'll at least teach me something useful that I can build a dApp on. Maybe not in 4 months, but whenever they get this done, hopefully before. Hopefully they're on Arcweave soon, because this is insane. I can't mint anything right now. But yeah, I want to get more on a research schedule for myself. I have no clue what's happening with my job with HashCloak. I'll be completely honest. This is called chloethedev Unfiltered. I try and be honest. I am so grateful for that position and for my boss for providing me with that, like offering me that position. I learned so much, and I continue to learn so much. But I think it's difficult at times to be hourly, like an hourly employee. To know like when you're supposed to put your time clock on, when you're not supposed to put your time clock on, I really don't know. And I know my boss is really busy. And so like I've been researching, like I've been really into like ETH. I mean, I've been into ETH 2.0 research for a long time. Ever since I knew ETH 2.0 was a thing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Let's make sure it's accessible for everyone. So I've been on ETH 2.0 research since ETH. So like ETH 1.0, I'll admit I was behind. I didn't know about it when it first came. I think I heard about ETH 1 in like 2016, but that was barely known it was a thing. I started like trading and having some ETH in 2017. But with ETH 2.0, I pretty much knew about it from like the day it was like on Twitter, like when it was talking. I mean, like, ETH 2.0 was talked about from when ETH 1.0 was talked about, I guess. So not really. I wasn't there from the beginning, but like, from the time when like, in 2017, when ETH was like rising and like pumping, and like Vitalik was saying, people were saying that this is not scalable. And they were talking about like what would be scalable. ETH was pumping, and I was like, ETH's amazing. But, and then CryptoKitties happened, and I was like, yeah. And people were like, oh, look, it's dumping. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, like it's not ready. I mean, it's not ready for that. Like, I don't know, just the whole like, I don't know, the past few years have been kind of crazy. It's been fun though. I've learned a lot. But yeah, on the whole idea of the ETH 2.0 stuff, I've been really enjoying it. I know the Ethereum Foundation, I think the Ethereum Foundation is hiring for their like AttackNet ETH 2.0 stuff, security research. To be a security researcher for any like over the past like month and a half, like 2 months, to be able to research like mixed-net and security and like has been like so amazing, such a blessing to be able to instill those topics and ideas into my mind. I've loved it, and I want to just continue that. So I mean, I don't know if my boss is too busy to watch these probably, but if you do watch these, I'm Kira. I mean, I hope I continue, but I think I need to solidify with my boss what my job actually is. At the same time, I don't necessarily think it's necessarily that like logical to continue. And that kind of goes with the whole, I'm not sure what I'm doing with my work, is because I don't really want to waste her money. And like, as an open source, I guess, researcher, I research for like just what I want to research anyways. And so like the whole idea is that she was funding me to research this stuff. But like, I guess I don't necessarily need I always need the funding. I'm broke. I am like flat broke. But the Canadian government is apparently providing people who are flat broke and who are self-employed $400 a week for the next year. Obviously to start their business, or continue their business, get off the ground, and get employment. And so obviously, if Hashcloak offered me employment, like, I would take it. I'm not saying that I would rather work off of government like money than have a job. I guess what I'm saying is I want to focus really hard on using this time that it seems like I have, where I'm funded. I guess I would say I would call it. Yeah, I'd call it unfunded. And I want to use this time to really focus on the research that will allow me to, as quick as possible, get a full-time position researching this stuff. Like, I know Status isn't necessarily a company with the biggest coffers, reserves of funds. So I know that my research with them is all like pro bono and free. It's kind of for fun and learning. But I do it, and I want to work hard doing it and learn a lot. And if the job comes up there, I want to be ready for it. But I understand that the job isn't there right now. And I know like the Ethereum Foundation has money and more funds available, and jobs are open, but I'm not necessarily out of place, in my opinion, where I am ready for those jobs yet. I mean, maybe I am. I don't know, but I don't feel like I am. And so I guess my point is I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing on a daily basis in terms of goals is helping me achieve my goals. So, making sure I have research posts, making sure I'm up to date with all the newest research directions in Ethereum research, listening to that. Today I was at a skate park with Mika, rolling around, literally on the half pipe, listening to the ETH all core devs call, or what I can't remember what the call was on today. I honestly. It was a good call. It was a great. Vitalik was talking about all core devs for Ethereum 1, because they were talking about it was such a good call. Vitalik and someone else were talking about changes to the gas prices, and I just learned a lot about the pricings of different opcodes and why you price in certain ways. And to me, it's all about security. It's all about researching why you do something, not how necessarily. I like knowing that you can do something. I like understanding, I guess, how it is done in a high-level sense. But I really understand why we're doing something. Why is it done this way? And I think that being on those calls and hearing the devs talk, having to explain, is basically being able to listen in on doctoral dissertation defenses. All the time, because you write an EIP, you got to defend your EIP, and I want to write an EIP, so I'm listening to how I'd have to defend my EIP in front of a bunch of developers one day, and so just I want to put the video recently out now about how to write an EIP. Very good video. I want to watch that a few more times. I went through it once, but stuff like that. I want to make sure I'm going through that video once a week, once a month. To make sure I'm remembering how to go through an EIP. I want to make sure that maybe I'm starting to write sort of an EIP. So like for example, on Status, if what are their goals and what is stopping them from achieving their goals, and then what would be needed in a technical standpoint to achieve those goals, and then what would be needed in terms of does Ethereum need to fork? Are there any network protocol level changes that would need to happen? There probably are some. And maybe start working on an EIP just for fun, just to get the idea of what it would look like. But that's the kind of stuff I want to be doing. And then I guess with the goal of eventually working at a company like Status, I really like Starkware stuff in terms of learning. So I would love to be able to do an internship at Starkware, or do a hackathon. I want to go through their code more and maybe use Mint-Base and use Starkware, because they're making a general purpose scaling. But I do want to be a DAC. So DAC is just a data availability committee. So I want to be a DAC member for Starkware. I just read the digital asset license for Antigua and Barbuda, and I realized that I do not need a license to operate a digital asset business if it is for the sole purposes of transacting, for the purposes of running nodes, computation, validation services, a bunch of things I want to do. So I can transact, pay employees, run validation staking services and computations and mine, all without a license. And in my opinion, that would allow me to mine ETH 1.x-ish, stake ETH 2.0, run nodes for Waku, status for providing encryption to the local community. And it would also allow me to run like Hashgraph, Graph Protocol, Hashgraph, Golem, everything that I want to run. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, pretty exciting stuff in my opinion. Yeah, so my grandma set me up a place. So a lot of stuff is kind of going down a good place. So I just want to make sure I'm ready for it. That's about it. Goals. I don't know. By the end of the year, I would love to have a position at Status, doing anything. I think for me, I don't really care what I'm doing in a position. It's more the company I'm working for and the vision behind it. And I think that Status in general seems like, and I could be wrong, I can get there and I can hate it in a week. And believe me, I'm the kind of person that'd be gone within a week. I'll say that on camera so that everyone could know. If I hate something, or not hate, because it's more that I feel as though the direction I'm going and the direction of the company are not the same direction. And so it's inefficient for me to be going alongside of that company that's pulling me not where I'm trying to go. And I want to be also pulling a company in a certain direction. So I feel as though Status and me in the direction I'm going, that I structured Status going, are similar, it seems. And so the more I learn about Status and Waku and back and on Discover 5 and all that stuff and where S2's going, the more I will learn if it is the same direction. But as it is, I hope it is aligned. And as I learn more about it, I hope I can also pull the company in a better direction. And then, because I know that obviously it's an experiment. Status is an experiment. It's a working experiment, in my opinion, at this point, but it is not working in terms of full privacy. Your messages are private, for example, but they can status, for example, can be your topics. So if you're sitting there joining a terrorist topic group, and the NSA requests for anyone who is subscribing to the topic of terrorism, Status will definitely, I guess, be able to give up the information they want to. So part of the reason why I want to run a mail server for Status is because I want to figure out how to run a mail server and delete data quicker than 30 days, and figure out how to provide people a node to connect to, where if they want to be talking about whatever they talk about. Again, I use terrorism as an obtuse example, right? Just to give an example, but it could be anything that you want to talk about that you don't want anyone else to be able to figure out you're talking about, for whatever reason that is. And the point is, and so I want, the idea would be that if someone wanted to figure it out and someone was running through me, the government or whatever actor would have to actually ask me for the information, and then Status keeps the information for about 30 days. And then so I guess a global actor, if they could get a subpoena or a warrant or whatever that word would be called, to access the information within the time period, they could get it within 30 days and get figure out who you're talking to. But if I deleted the data within a day, and you didn't check your messages within a day, I guess you would lose some data. At the same time, you would know that the data is deleted, so that if any global actor hacked my, whatever server, that they wouldn't know anything before a day. So if you were only talking to a certain high-risk individual once a month, then you would know that, different I guess anonymity constraints, or not constraints, goals, anonymity goals for different like settings, I guess. And so I just want to play around with some settings, kind of in my mind, I guess, see what they would do, but also kind of just like see if they work, see if that makes sense, see if. And I don't like writing papers, so I guess most of my research will end up here. Obviously, I'm gonna take notes when I go through papers and stuff. Because it's an efficient way of like just taking notes, and I have the tablet now and everything. I can kind of read on my one screen, take notes on my other screen, which is really nice. But yeah, I'm gonna start taking weekends off and not coding. Weekends off again, meaning just reading papers, during the week. I don't know. During the week, I want to focus really more on like getting on my desktop and trying to like code through the nodes and trying to break stuff. Trying to break shit. Try and break shit. That's the point of the server. This is the why I spun up an Ubuntu server on a random hard drive I bought at Canada Computers, so that I can just go attempt to break shit randomly whenever I want. And if it breaks, I don't care. There's no real Ethereum, no real ether, whatever people call it on here. I can get hacked. Nothing important. It's just for me to learn, and I think it's so important to have that. And so so I want to focus on that kind of stuff. So with Web3 Bridge, a goal is to really help, really get involved as a mentor. I am a researcher, and so I would want to. I want to curate information that, in my opinion, Eat the Blocks is the best place to learn anything about Ethereum Solidity development, for sure. This new page, Isaac Frank, he has 94 subscribers. Seems like a wonderful page. I will push this page everywhere. A young black person trying to do the. So yeah, I think that's all I got to say. I don't know. I'll go live again tomorrow. I'm going to see some friends in the morning. My friend moved to Windsor, so we're going to go hang out with her. Actually, the same friends that got me these earrings. I love them. Got them from Tobermory, I think, or not Tobermory, up north somewhere. I'm going to hang out with her in the morning, get some food, go on a walk. Might see my friend Sasha, who owns a skate shop down here, Bliss, that we help support with Marvin J Foundation. We'll hang out, probably skate. I think she's a bit discouraged recently. So we're going to go hang out, share some love and positivity and encouragement. Yeah, doing really well recently. Doing really well. Hope some things that have been going poorly for a little while might be resolved over the next couple of weeks, couple of days. So, I got an American bank account this week so that I can send my ex-wife funds in American dollars. I've been sending her ETH. Over the past little while, so it was simpler for me. I couldn't really handle more than crypto, but I think that I don't know if I've said grown, but I think that I can now handle the world of fiat a little bit. And if I know that I don't want to put other people in stressful situations, although they did. But now I have an American bank account and I can send that way. And I know that could be easier sometimes, so I might do that. Also, it's just good to have an American bank account. I have an American credit card, so why not have an American bank account? It makes it easier to pay off. Bianca got car insurance, so it wasn't that bad. My connection is really unstable right now. I could connect my Ethernet cable, but I won't. Our board's pretty much off. Coming up soon on the Marvin J website will be a Wix plugin, so you can start ordering stuff. Coming soon. I am going to be minting some art. There's hopefully some sticker packs too. Hopefully we're going to be making some sticker packs with status, making the app more fun for people, more colorful. So hopefully that'll happen next week. So those are like next week, but by the end of next week, we should have a way to order stuff on the website. Whatever you want, we should have a submitted, at least a sticker pack for the Marvin J Foundation. I don't know. People move slower than us sometimes, but the Marmaday Foundation will move at my speed, I suppose. And so sticker packs for status hopefully come at least submitted next week. If status doesn't put them up, then I can't do anything about that. If you're an artist and you feel like you would want to make some sticker packs, maybe reach out, chloethedev at gmail.com. Yeah. I'd rather you email marmaday.org at gmail.com. Bianca checks that. She does not want to receive your emails though, so you can email me. I'll leave my email there. Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at the list. But yeah, I keep going way longer than I mean to on these videos. But I guess that's the point, eh? To just kind of get it all out so that I can kind of organize it for the next day. Because now I kind of have my goal for myself for the weekend is to get through this paper. That's going to take quite a lot. And get through. I gotta stop saying that. I do not like that sign out. Like, just hope you have a wonderful day. Love you all. Peace and love and all that good stuff. Oh, before I go, I can't forget because this has to happen every time. September 14th, noon Eastern to 12:30. marmaday.cryptovoxels.net. We'll be having an event. You can go to that link now, see what's there. We'll be having airdrops and music and shows and all that fun stuff. Gitcoin grant round 7. Feel free to donate if you want or don't. They move to layer 2. Anyways, I'm tired. Have a good night. Love you all. Yeah.